Good morning, everybody. I'm Ed Parcaut with Mike Kelly, and we're Real Estate Jerky Daily. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everyone. I was lost, but now I'm found. That's a great picture in the background. I had a great weekend. What about you? You were up at the cabin, right?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, we didn't do much. I mean, I worked on my store. Created a store a while back for all the podcast stuff I do and all the hats, stuff like this, like the one you're wearing. You need to adjust your fade
out.
Yeah,
I could do that.
No, don't worry about it right now.
Yeah,
because I don't want you messing anything up. Just leave it alone. Fix it tomorrow. And I put all my products in there and stuff like that, getting it ready so it can go live. It's going to be shop.edparcaut.com.
Cool.
And the reason I did that is because, I created a few T-shirts for Operation Firewalk, which is coming up this weekend.
I didn't
want to buy like a couple hundred shirts and then we don't need them all. I didn't want the Ride for Mom little leftover stuff like we used to have. So people can just, if they want one, they can go and buy them. They're not that expensive.
Very cool.
We're not going to make any money on them. And then, if they want a mug or sweatshirt or whatever, they can go there and get it. And we don't have to have a ton of them to sell. They can just order them online.
Perfect.
And they'll come in a couple of weeks.
Well, cool.
Less headaches for us. Anyway, that's why that whole thing started, was to do that. And then I started adding all my other products, which is a lot of work. I sat there all day Saturday because I had nothing else to do because it was snowing. And next thing I know, it's 2:00 in the morning. I'm going, oh shit, I got
That's a long ass day. You were deep in it.
Yeah, well, I was watching other stuff too.
Yeah,
a bunch of Charles Bronson's movies.
Oh, wow!
Had to get all the old '80s movies out of the way.
I'm trying to think of the name of that movie.
And there was Mechanic, and then there was Assassination, when he's like he protects the president, the first lady, which is his wife in real life,
Jill Ireland.
Yeah. And then there's there's so many of his movies.
Yeah,
I didn't get into the ones where he protects the neighborhoods.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the name of that one right now.
I know I know you were. And then I watched also.
You could see that dumb look on my face.
Yeah,
what the hell was it called?
And I can't remember.
Charles Bronson in.
You Googling it?
No, I don't care that much.
All right. Let's get on to the show with some news.
Okay, let's do the news.
Let's see here. I have inventory. Inventory rose last week by another 9,355.
Wow, for the nation.
Yes, and went from 719,000 to 731,989.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Same week last year, we increased 13,640 only to 556,291.
Yeah, last year was a tough year for buyers.
All-time low for inventory that week is in 2022. It was 240,497. 2024 peak, so far the most it was last year was 739,434. So we're almost catching it. We're a little bit away from that.
Getting close.
Same week in 2015 was 1,071,283.
1 million. Wow.
1 million. Yes. 1,071,283. Got it now?
I do. I got it the first time too.
So inventory is growing, but remains way below historic norms.
Hey, Norm.
Gnomes.
Yeah, come on in, have a beer.
It's gnomes. And so don't worry, but if there's a property on the market that you like, and it's not going to probably come back on for many, many years if somebody else buys it and only one person can buy it.
Yeah. I guess your moral is act now. Don't fiddle fight around.
Yeah, kind of like act now, pay later.
Right. That would be cool.
Speaking of buy now, pay later, nice little inventory, nice little move over there. They did a, let me pull it back up so I can say who it was. Where'd it go? All right, before I get there. So right now the bonds are up only 3 basis points and the 10-year sitting at 4.24, opened at 4.23. So it's getting a little bit better. But I mean, overall, not today.
Right.
We're negative today, but, it's going to take time. It's this tariff thing. I think we only need 6 countries. It's like India, the EU, just some major ones to agree, and it changes everything.
Yeah.
Lending Tree did a survey conducted of only 2,000 individuals age 18 to 79, and they were asking questions about buy now, pay later.
Okay.
50% of them used buy now, pay later, that 50% of them use.
Right.
Of that, 41% were late in the last year on their payment.
On their pay later?
Yeah, on that thing.
Yeah.
33% used it to bridge next paycheck. 25% used it for groceries, and 48% regret using it at all.
At all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So consumer stress signals weakening discretionary spending, major part of the decline. It's 70% of GDP is what we buy.
Okay.
So if we're not buying, the GDP goes down.
Shrinks.
Yes, that is correct.
This nose itches.
That's nice. Must be sticking in the wrong place.
Maybe I'm going to, well, no, it means I'm going to come into some money.
Is that what that means?
Or is it my palm?
I think it's your palm itching. That's what that means.
Damn it. Here.
Or that means just put some lotion on it.
Yeah.
Tariff impact on forecasts, supply shocks, price increases likely to begin around Mother's Day is what they're saying. I'm thinking right after Mother's Day, we're going to hear a bunch of this stuff come through. But no matter what happens, they're still going to go, but he only got...
yeah, they're gonna play the short part.
Yeah, it took him 120 days,
and gas isn't any cheaper yet. But I thought he said drill, baby, drill.
Yeah, well, he doesn't control a lot of that stuff. He's done a lot in the first 100 days, but he's the only president that took on tariffs, and because no other president will ever want to do this, because then they won't, they're afraid about getting reelected.
Yeah. Well,
so
he's not going to run.
Let's put some task force together and see if it's a good idea.
Yeah. Okay, Governor Newsom.
That's how all of them do.
Yeah, I know. But you got this guy who's going to be running in 28 who says, we're going to put a task force together to find out why gas prices are so high in California. Those oil companies are gouging us. Yeah. No, it could be the gas taxes that are like 75 cents per gallon that are increasing those prices. But he's got a task force, and guess what you never hear about? Any outcome on the task force.
No, because it's a way to push it down the road so they don't have to do anything. And that's not just him. That's
everybody.
All politicians don't want to bite that off right away.
Yep.
The difference is Trump's not going to stay around.
Yeah. Why would he do? Why would
he? He did put out there the Trump 2028 hat, though.
I love it.
It's just a mess with them, If they're talking about that, then he can just go do what he wants.
Yeah.
What else came out? CoreLogic. Yeah, rental. Well, it was not that. It was COTALITY, which is basically CoreLogic's rental index.
What did it say?
Reported that rents were up 2.9% year over year in February, even with the bump higher due to the fires in California. If you looked at, if corrected, the CPI, that would be the Consumer Price Index, would be closer to 2.3%, aiding in Fed goals of getting closer to 2%. So basically, with this rent, because we talked about this a long time ago, they took actual purchases of housing and those payments out of the CPI report back in the day because that showed too much inflation. So let's do rents instead.
Let's control this.
Of course,
we want the outcome to look different.
So we have,
we'll kick out the high stuff.
So PCE is coming out on Wednesday, and they're expecting the headline inflation to fall to 2.2% year over year, which is, and the core inflation to fall to 2.5% year over year. If that happens, bonds going to rally and rates are going to get better. We have key news this week. Do you know what it is?
Well, we're going to have jolts.
Yes. Right. What day?
Tuesday.
Correct.
Okay.
That's
all I got.
All right. So
I listened to you, but we
Case Shiller,
yeah.
FHFA. So we're going to, Case Shiller, single family homes, FHA has to do with conforming loan limits. Those are coming out, and jolts on Tuesday. Wednesday's mortgage application, first quarter GDP, which is probably going to show down.
Right.
Pending home sales. Thursday, initial jobless claims, and then Friday, the BLS jobs report, Bureau of Labor Statistics. GDP, they're looking for a 0.4% growth expected. And also Atlanta Fed is showing that they think there's going to be a 0.4% contraction going on. ADP is looking at 180,000 new jobs. BLS is looking at 135,000 new jobs, and unemployment rate at 4.2%. This is what they're expecting. So if we have more jobs or less jobs, that could change the market.
Either direction.
If it comes in right as expected, nothing's really going to move. It's those little, all of a sudden, oh my goodness, what happened?
Yeah.
So if you're in the market of locking, I would say let's float for the few days to see what's happening. I have one right now that's in that situation.
No alarms? No alarms to lock?
No, because I mean, it's not like it's going to move that much.
Yeah.
We could lock, and my biggest headache is sometimes clients are a little bit slow on getting you stuff, and then they wonder why they're not approved yet. Shocking.
Well, you can't do everything. Let's see what this weekend. Quite a few open houses. Went to one with a client of mine on Sunday. About 45 people were through there.
Wow. So some's telling me things are changing.
Things are changing. And the asking price is $859.
Wow.
So I would say of that 45 people on Sunday, well, I actually saw a couple neighbors. In fact, a couple of the neighbors were past clients of mine.
Most of them were neighbors checking out the house.
A few of them were neighbors, but there were some in there. There were agents who were showing, and there were some people that were lingering that were showing a lot of interest. So I think market is moving upward as far as volume of openings, escrow openings, and we'll see that on Wednesday when we look at the numbers again.
Right. Housing Wire put out an article. I didn't have time to drop it in here, but basically it says why the housing market is actually much healthier in 2025. And and then of course it said something totally different. I'm just kidding. It said despite negative headlines, inventory and home sales are both trending positive, unless you're in Texas or Florida,
right?
In some of those states, but overall for us, we just don't have enough inventory. We're so short on inventory. We don't have enough housing. We don't have enough this. If everybody decided that, you know what, this is the time to buy, it's going to be a bidding war. And that's what I was telling somebody else who was thinking about, waiting to purchase. I'm like, if you wait, you're probably going to lose out, because everybody's like, the first time you get in the market, you see that house you want, you're like, oh, let me think about it. And then you go to write an offer. It's gone.
It's already gone.
And then the next time you're much faster. Well, and that's how do you get your people to understand that ahead of time? That will happen.
True.
How do you do it? That's the question.
Pay attention to us. If you love the house, you qualify for the payment, you can refinance later. Just do it. Just do it.
So even if you pay 10 grand for the house, more for the house right now, well, one of two things going to happen. The appraiser is going to come in and say it's too high. Then you can renegotiate.
Right.
The other thing is in 6 months to a year, it won't matter.
True. Very, very true.
Because then once the house closes at what you paid for it, it is now worth that.
And 6 months to a year, when you pay a higher price you have to outbid the competition, and the appraisal doesn't come in, you
have to bring in that cash.
You have no real choice other than to cancel or bring in the cash, because you got 4 or 5 people waiting in the background ready to take over.
And then the Bay Area is still doing the no contingency stuff.
Right. Just pushing them away.
No,
even with the appraisal.
Yeah, well, no, more like the loan contingency.
Yeah.
So basically, when you write an offer, it's your house.
Yep.
Basically,
you get to satisfy yourself with a condition, but you don't get to cancel because you've already removed your contingencies.
Yeah. So how would you get out of it? Yeah, exactly.
You get the transfer disclosure statement. You find something on there, or you find nothing on there. You have 3 days after receipt to just say, boom, I'm gone. There are those. Yeah,
but when you get the transfer disclosure
usually statement, before you have your inspections.
Yeah, so that's like right in the beginning.
Right.
So by then you don't know if you're dead yet.
Exactly. So get your inspections right up front. Now, the one thing about most San Francisco listings, they've already got inspections, and they usually have them attached to the listing when it goes on the market. They think a little bit differently than we do over here, unless I will have inspections up front if a house is like beat to hell. And there's going to be some issues that you're going to have to negotiate. So get the inspections done quickly, put it attach it to the listing. Not that every agent's going to pull them up, because you have it attached? It says it in the agent only comments. Well, I'm not going to look at them. Then they write the offer, and then they're like, oh, I didn't know that the septic tank was broken. And they remove their contingencies.
Yeah. Well, why wouldn't you just go ahead and, not do inspections on them? It's your house, doing the inspections, so you know what is going to come up and scare you.
You really should.
And scare your buyer, so that way that's all on the table. There's nothing. Here's all the inspections. Write your offer. There's going to be no repair, none of this other stuff going. I thought I was going to get all this money, and now I'm not going to get this amount of money.
Right.
I feel like I'm watching the movie Ghosts.
You really should. I mean, you really should. And we as agents over here should probably just say, you know what, we're going to start doing things differently. Before we hit the market, we're going to have all our inspections done. We're going to have them uploaded to the listing, and then we know exactly where we are if we have to negotiate anything.
I mean, it makes more.
It's a lot more sense.
Well, it just would speed the transaction up. It'll take care of everything, and it just makes it better for everybody.
Here's the one thing that you can't get away with.
Here's the rub.
The rub is the buyer can still have the inspections by anybody they want to, even if you have a pest report or a whole house inspection or a roof inspection. Yeah, I'm going to choose my guy, and then their guy doesn't happen to be a upstanding young man or woman. And they inspect and they come up with all this bullshit. Now you're either got to have another inspection to inspect the inspection, or you just negotiate what you got to negotiate.
Or you just go with a very good pest company and inspection company from the beginning, and then that has good reputation, and then there shouldn't be a problem at all.
There shouldn't be. But there's, you always have those outliers. And I always use the same pest company and the same home inspector.
I think that's best.
And the same roofer. And they've always done very well. They're human, though. Sometimes you miss something.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, again, it's just they're looking to see what they can find, and they're going to find a lot of stuff. And the question really is it what needs to be taken care of by you or somebody else?
Yeah, I told my sellers, don't be there when the inspector's there. It's going to freak you out. Just don't do it. We'll hear about it later. I'll be in contact. Well, they decided to stay there, cook breakfast, and hang out and follow the inspector. So the inspection should have taken 2.5 hours, took 3 and 15. And he's freaking out. I mean, he's just absolutely freaking out. I'm like, stop it.
And how bad was it?
It wasn't bad at all. You'll get a couple $1,000s worth of pest damage that was actually there when they bought it. The pest company that did the inspection did the previous inspection when they bought it and brought up the report, and it's the same items.
And they never took care of it?
Well, they said their buyer's agent, didn't tell them about it at all. Said everything's fine. I said, did you sign the pest report? I don't think we even saw one. Wow.
You had to see one.
Well, no, not necessarily.
It's in the contract and you got paid by somebody.
It's not in the contract.
No.
You got in 14 days or 17 days to do your inspections. The agent coordinates the inspections, and the agent probably freaked out and thought, wow, there's $2,000 worth of damage. Shadow freaked me out. $2,000 worth of damage, and I don't want to blow up this thing, so I'm not going to tell my client. And 5 years later, they find out there's $2,000 worth of stuff. They took care of it. So anyway.
All right. What are you going to do?
Pick good agents. Get referrals.
That's correct. All right. That's all I have for today. Do you have anything else?
No. Love Modesto was lightly populated while it was raining, but once the rain broke loose, it was very heavily populated. We had a great time. And shooting my T-shirts, I think there was a little leak in the line because some would go very far and some would go poop. At least they made it past the stage.
Yeah, well, I think it's an age thing.
It was a lot.
Ding dong.
Ding dong.
And don't forget this Saturday we have
Operation Firewalk.
That's right.
Yeah.
If you're a veteran, first responder, or their family, please sign up. Go to Operation Firewalk and sign up. I do have a few tickets, extra tickets left over that were donated back. So if you need them, let me know. Reach out to me, but sign up first.
And I've got friends who are going to actually attend with me. So that's going to be kind of cool.
Cool. All right. Thank you so much. Make it a great day. And we'll be back tomorrow.
Peace
Thanks,
out.
Mike. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, Ed.
My pleasure.
Bye.
Bye.